I was going to say it is Saturday, November 7th, about 5:51 p.m., and we are just outside of Detroit, Michigan.
You're a resident of Michigan.
Correct.
For how many years have you been a resident of Michigan?
19 years.
Okay. And so you are over the age of 18, I have to ask. Okay. We are going to stay on things that you personally witnessed and experienced. If you want to tell me something that someone else told you, that's certainly fine. Just be sure you tell me, I was told this.
It was a marathon session, to say the least.
5:30 in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're there full 24
Oh,
hours.
yeah. And I might mention, because of the stuff that was going on, I did not need any caffeine supplements.
Understood.
It was definitely an electronic device that was on and receiving data in and out based upon the lights coming on and off. So you could see traffic.
Yeah.
So, and then those routers went into a computer stack on the stage that had another router hub device in it. Same behavior. And then from that router hub to a third router hub, there was a connectivity, and from that hub we saw an Ethernet cable coming out of that into a socket in the wall, an Ethernet tab into the wall on one of the central columns just across from the stage. That particular Ethernet connection had a connection up to a Wi-Fi router or receiver or transmitter up closer to the ceiling. That was on, lights were coming on and off on that. So from my experience working in the technology area for many years, that signaled to me that there was some kind of in and out data happening in that location. So the actual question when I was standing next to Pat Colbert to Daniel Baxter was, if there's any internet connectivity to the devices in this polling location. His reply was, quote unquote, no. Then Pat asked for verification on this, and the reply was, trust me.
What I can confirm is that all of the monitors that were in the tabulator and adjudicator area, all those workstations, they all had that good old internet connectivity icon active, or LAN connection icon in the bottom right-hand corner. It's consistent with internet connectivity is the icon status we saw on all those monitors. And if it's not connected to the internet, there's a very explicit icon that says it's a little globe, crosshatch globe with a little crosshatch on a symbol on the bottom saying you're not connected. So when I got in there and I saw that configuration, I asked the head election official, Daniel Baxter, are these computers connected to the internet? And he said simply no. Later on, I saw former state representative David Nathan. And I said, David served with me when I was in the Michigan Senate in my first term. And I said, David, is this connected to the internet? And he goes, no. I go, well, I'm seeing indications that they are connected, and I'd like to be able to verify that. And he says, no, you got to trust me. I go, all right. You may have been told a lie that they're not connected. I would like you to go off and verify it, and all you got to do is move that little cursor over that symbol, and it'll say connected to internet or not. And he says, you're just gonna have to trust me. Well, David, if you're listening, I don't trust you, and the stakes are too high for this right now.
Well, they weren't doing that. Every time I observed a straight ticket or I saw Donald Trump's name circled in, they would shove it back in the envelope and they would put it back in the pile.
Every time?
Every time they saw it, they would shove. It was so many votes. They even had USPS boxes stacked up by the threes. And they were sitting on the floor. And so I asked the man that was sitting right here, why are these still sitting on the floor? He said, oh, they were already counted. But remember, we just started the counting a little bit past 11:30 p.m. on November the 3rd. So how could all those be counted that quick? It was impossible.
How do you not have these names in your registered voter list, but you have them on a piece of paper? If they're not on the piece of paper, that's when they keyed in the names with the fake birthday. And I saw that. I saw one lady type it in, and I tried to challenge the ballot, and she's like, well, what is it a challenge? It's already been challenged. It's already been approved.
And then I noticed that there was no date of birth coming up. Then I asked the supervisor, I said, how would you know the date of birth of the person? Because nothing is coming up. The clerk's office has already made sure of all of this before sending it to us. I said, okay. And then I said, who's verifying the signature? The clerk's office. Then I said, okay, fine. And then I was noticing that it was the same exact signature, like, like a graph. Up and down signature on every one of them. And then I leaned forward, like I took one step forward to see the date on the ballots. It said November 0 space, no digit there, comma 2020. Then I asked the supervisor, what is the date on that one? I don't see the second letter after 0. At which point he just moved the box away and he's like, we're doing our job, you're really disturbing us, kind of thing.
I wish I would have got his name and number. He was trying to challenge a ballot. And he got maybe...
What did he look like?
He was a young kid. Kind of looked like you.
Okay.
And he was on the far side of the room, and you could hear the ruckuses going on. And I'm going, what the heck's going on over there? So Emily and I go over, and this poor kid is trying to look over this person's shoulder to see what they're doing. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a group of people show up, and they blocked him.
That would be double counting, but I've seen numerous times them keep doing this. And machines that would say that, I would walk by and the machines would have a number, a ballot scanned, and the number should have never went over 50.
So what numbers were you seeing on these?
I was seeing around 400 to 500.
Would you like to tell us for which one?
Yeah, at Biden, I did not see not a one ballot for Trump, not one.
That's what he would do. Continue to put those same 27 in instead of putting those 27 to the side that was red already and put the remaining ones in that would equal up to 50. He did not do that. Instead, he put that same amount in over 10 times.
He put the same ballots in 10 times.
Over 10 times.
So the machine doesn't have a way to know whether the same ballot or barcode or number or whatever has already been put in?
How? You covered the sensor. You covered the reader. So that means if you put the ballot through, it won't read anything. And you can override and push, yes, I'm overriding. The reader was covered for a fact because he even peeled it off. Because after so long...
I see. Okay, so the correction tape you're talking about
Yes.
is over a scanner. Kind of like when you go to the store or something.
Yes.
And you scan your groceries in the barcode.
Yes.
He was covering that up.
Yes. Then he would take another piece of the white tape, look around, and slide it on in there, right under that reader, and put the same exact balance in again.
You saw him do that?
I saw him do this.
So I'm sitting back there. We sit there for hours, and not one ballot showed up. People have shown up to like.
When you say hours, kind of roughly, can you give us a time frame of what?
There was no. I didn't. From what I saw, there was not one ballot that showed up from at least 10 p.m. Or let me say at least 10:30 to the 3:30 a.m. when it, roughly the number that Colbeck gave was 38,000 ballots showed up. I counted over 50 different boxes of ballots that showed up all at once at 3:30 a.m. Someone gave an official count of 61.
The next thing was suspicious were the 30,000 ballots that showed up at 3 o'clock. There's lots.
So that was at 3 o'clock.
It was it'd been Wednesday morning,
Okay.
like 3 a.m. Where do these ballots come from? Who verifies the signature on these ballots?
Jose, let's pick up where we left off. You were telling me about something you witnessed at 3:30 in the morning.
Around that time, yes.
I think you had said that at that point, President Trump was ahead.
Yeah, by 300,000 votes. I'm
Okay.
checking my phone, yes.
Go ahead from there.
Well, then suddenly come a truck and brought like I got on the 59 boxes of absentee ballots, and then but no way it was even there 300,000 votes or something. I went to table 1 and 2 to be able to look at how they open in those new envelopes. I find out that the ballots they have all the votes for Biden and Senator Gary Peters. That's it. No, everything else was blank, and everything was with black pen. At 3:30, we were winning by 300,000. They went down to 200,000. When I left the building, Biden was just 10,000 votes close to Trump when I was leaving by 5 in the morning.
So within 3 hours, that window closed.
That window closed and flipped.
The person voted straight party candidate for both the Republican and the Democrat. Like, you can tell on the ballots when a person, like a slip of the pen or a mistake, or even an accident. Like, for example, if I circle in the candidate and I change my mind, you know how when a person puts an X over something, even though it's circled in the middle, you can see like the little lines stick up from the X. So you can tell that they X'd it out. None of this. And so the lady at the adjudication table says, I think that should go to the Democrat. I'm like, wait a minute, no. This is not right. I'm like, no, that cannot. I'm like, no. I said, the person voted for both. And she said, and she's talking to the other lady, she said, yeah, I don't know. And she's sitting there like, I don't know. But because her logic was that the circle was slightly darker for the Democrat. It doesn't matter if it was a darker circle. That's not what the law is. The law is that it was 2 intentional marks. So therefore, you got to throw out the whole ballot. And so I go get her supervisor. And her supervisor goes, I don't know. What do you think? And I'm like, I'm losing my mind. I'm like, oh my God, this is not up for debate. You're breaking the law. So I was just furious. So I went to go get her supervisor. Now check this out. This is the guy that's overseeing the entire 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. absentee counting process. So he's over everything for this shit. And everything. Mm-hmm. I go get him, and he does the same blanking thing. He literally goes, I don't know. What do you think? And I'm like, I'm losing. I said, no, I challenge this. I challenge this ballot.